Hey guys, this is Sunit and welcome to Infomaniacs. In this video, we'll be talking about the 21 days lockdown exit strategy and how it's going to happen. So stay tuned. So friend, today when I am making this video, just 8 days are left for this lockdown to end. So let us know just briefly about this lockdown. On 24 March, the government of India, under Prime Minister Narendra Modi, ordered a nationwide lockdown for 21 days, limiting movement of the entire 1.3 billion population of India as a preventive measure against the coronavirus pandemic. It was ordered after a 14-hour voluntarily public curfew on 22nd March, followed by enforcement of a series of regulations in the country's COVID-19 affected region. The lockdown was placed when the number of confirmed positive coronavirus cases in India were approximately 500. So guys, when I'm making this video, the current confirmed cases are 4,289, out of which 3,843 are active cases and the recovered cases are 328 and deceased cases are 118. This data is taken from COVID-19 tracker. However, you can find some discrepancy between this data and the government data because the government data takes some times to update, and this COVID-19 tracker directly takes its data from various state governments. So 4,289 seems to be a large number, but let me tell, the worldwide cases are 12,50,265 and US it is 3,29,636. So comparatively we can say that India is doing a bit good, and there are various reasons. I'll be talking about that in some other videos. So guys, what was the objective for initiating this lockdown? The main reason of this lockdown is to flatten the incidence curve, about which I have already discussed in my previous video, and if you have not seen it, kindly go through it. You will understand. And and how it will be done by identifying, isolating, and treating the corona patients. And you can see over here that the developed country have highly more number. India has initiated this lockdown by a very early stage, which is appreciated by WHO. And but these countries had done some mistake. That's why this number are staggering high. Okay guys, let's go through the timeline of this lockdown. In first week, there was a migrant crisis, and I hope that everyone is aware of that crisis. In this crisis, an estimated 139 million migrant workers from the countryside who works in India's cities and towns in various factories and workplaces were forced to leave because these places were shut down due to this lockdown and they were left with no livelihood. So you could have seen various images flooding through the social media platforms in which you can see the migrant laborers are just wandering and going to their villages, traveling a long distance by their foot. But 2 days after this incident, the Uttar Pradesh government decided to arrange buses at Delhi's Anand Bihar bus station to take migrants back to their villages. But still, there were a lot of crowd who are waiting at Delhi and Uttar Pradesh border. So in second week, there was Nizamuddin Markaz crisis, and everyone must be aware about it. So I will not discuss about it. But what happened because of this? That lockdown, the strategy that was thought of this lockdown didn't reach to the point it was expected because of this chaos that arrived very suddenly. So there is an extensive debate going on various social media platforms, not only in social media platforms but also inside the cabinet and in the government, that if this lockdown should be extended or not. But about this question, the cabinet secretary Rajiv Gauba said that they have no plans to extend this lockdown. So this is suggesting that government is serious about coming out of this lockdown after April 14. So there were again rumor mongering in the electronic media about the resumption of service by Indian Railways from 15th April. However, in a tweet, Railway quashed this claim and said that it is to clarify that reservation for journey post 14th April was never stopped and is not related to any new announcement. In its next tweet, Railways clarified that there is no such plan regarding the resumption of passenger service that has been issued, and all concerned would be duly informed about any further decision in this regard. So, by this tweet, we can derive a conclusion that there has not been any concrete decision about ending this lockdown. However, government is discussing with various people, and sooner and later, the government will be coming with a solution. In his tweet, Hardeep Singh Puri said that there has not been any decision made for the resumption of the aviation services. However, if required, they will assess the situation on case by case. This means that they could start some flight services, maybe international and domestic well. However, later in a press conference, Hardeep Singh Puri said that aviation lockdown is to extend till April 30, and after that further decision will be made. So by this we can infer that no concrete decision has been framed by the government, and we should be waiting for it. However, in a video conference with the Chief Minister of various states, Prime Minister asked them to ensure a staggered re-emergence of the people once this 21 days lockdown is lifted. And he also said that in next few weeks the testing, tracing, isolation and quarantine will remain the primary focus area of the government. This, however, suggests that government is serious about planning an exit strategy from this 21 days lockdown and is planning to not to extend it further. After this video conference, the Chief Minister of Arunachal Pradesh, Pema Khandu, tweeted that this lockdown will be ending on April 15, but that doesn't mean that people will be free of the restrictions and can defy the restrictions. And recently, Prime Minister Narendra Modi also consulted various leaders of the oppositions, also ex-Prime Minister Manmohan Singh and SD Deve Gowda about the effort to evolve a broad-based consensus on effort to fight COVID-19 through a combined containment strategy. However, there is a difference of opinion between the healthcare personnel and other personnel in the government. And the healthcare personnel have stressed on the fact that 21 days is not enough to contain this virus, and India should extend this to 49 days to effectively slow down the rate of the incidence so there won't be a pressure on the healthcare sector. And various industrialists and also the economists claims that with each day of extension of this lockdown, India will be slowly inching towards the threshold of withholding this economical stress. However, in a video conference, the industrialists have conveyed their message to Prime Minister Modi that with the debacle and the recession of the Western economies and reopening of various Chinese industries, sooner or later Chinese will be controlling a large chunk of the market, and if not whole, then Indian government should allow industries to perform and function partially so that they can compete with the Chinese, or it will be very difficult for Indian industries to come into pace with Chinese. And this is not just about the industrialist, but also the daily wages laborer who are paid either daily or weekly. With the loss of their job, they won't be able to afford fooding, clothing, and living. And how can we forget about the agricultural workers and the farmer? The Rabi harvest season has already ended and their crops are lying idle. There is no procurement because of the restriction in the transportation industries. So if it is not addressed by government very soon, then they may end up in a crisis. And with the earnings from this harvest, the farmers will be getting ready for another season, that is Kharif season, which is very soon to come in month of June and July after the monsoon arrives. So let us hear what Dr. Anthony Fauci, the director of National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease of United States of America, who is currently overlooking the COVID crisis in America, has to say about this economic situation. He says that there is a discussion and a delicate balance about what's the overall impact of shutting everything down completely for an indefinite period of time. So there is a compromise. If you knock down the economy completely and disrupt the infrastructures, you may be causing health issues, unintended consequences for the people who need to be able to get to the places they can't. So it is very likely that government is not going to extend this lockdown, but it has to come with another strategy. And I think that government has came with cluster containment strategy. Okay, let's try to understand this. Look over the map in India, that you can see that some states there are high incidence, and in there are states where there is low incidence. So, in this cluster containment strategy, we will contain the disease and the infections to the highly endemic area. Recently, there are many cases emerging from Maharashtra, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Delhi, Uttar Pradesh, and government has already identified 211 districts throughout the nations which will come under this cluster containment strategy. These districts under this containment strategy are also labeled as the COVID-19 hotspots, and because of the increased incidence in this area, all the restriction put under the lockdown strategy will function as usual, and in the rest of the country all the restrictions will be slowly eased out, and they will try to bring normalcy but very slowly. Personally, I feel that this strategy will work like the strategy that has been taken by the Odisha government in Bhubaneswar. After this 48 hours lockdown, four hotspots have been identified in the Bhubaneswar that will remain under the restriction as they are hotspots. And in rest of the places in the Bhubaneswar, the provision of essential service will begin slowly from tomorrow. However, we can only speculate on the basis of these facts. What will happen? Time and government can only say, and let's hope that it will be for better of for all of us, and sooner than later the life will return to its normalcy throughout the country. Jai Hind. And guys, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates.